So, good evening, everybody. My name's Richard. That's all I'm going to give you. I've been asked to give my thoughts on a few things, and so here is my interview. Do I suffer with mental illness? I don't know. I've never felt comfortable enough to go to the doctors and seek professional advice because I'm a 42-year-old man. I live my life the way I was taught, sort of rely on my own resources and to just be me, and other people have got problems, and are yours worse than theirs? At the time you sort of think not. And then you sort of take stock of yourself and think, well, I can't pay my bills, I can't get myself round just round processes, and it all becomes a bit screwed up in your head, and you become a bit messed up. So the answer, do I suffer? I probably do. Should I seek some help? Probably yes. Am I going to? It's really difficult to say because I feel like I may have got it under control this time, and later on in this conversation, I'll talk a bit more about something I'm doing to react on that, or to sort of change my whole life and my process into doing these things. My whole life and process, getting back up to the conventional way of life. We'll get on to that. How am I dealing with it? Well, dealing with my mental health has been 7 years in the making. Back in 2013, I guess for some reason I took a downward spiral, and roll on another 6 months or so into 2014, and my father passed away. And so I was in the UK, looking for a job, and found a good job actually, living in a rented room in a house just outside of Merstham, outside of Ashford, Kent, in a village called Merstham, and was able to just sort of build a bit of a life for myself. At that point now, I was still quite heavily addicted to drugs, and by drugs I mean not just marijuana. I was probably doing cocaine, and I wasn't back to crack, but I had a crack addiction for 6 months or so in my earlier days, around 2002, 2003, somewhere around there. So but yeah, I was living in a party house and was just able to freely do my thing. I have no boundaries since both my parents have gone, and I didn't really ever find a way of having boundaries when I tested their boundaries when they were alive. Regrettably, I regret those days now, and probably one of the reasons, another reason why I felt so depressed and suicidal towards the end, because I'd let them down, myself down, and more importantly, other people around me that thought I was so much more. I was scared that I was worried for the reaction. I was nervous on people and how they would feel about. I was scared of honesty. Spent a lot of time not telling the truth, just trying to get through earlier life and just not really knowing who I was. But how am I dealing with it? This as you might have heard behind me, a big machine has just started up. I a couple of years ago moved to the Netherlands. 12 in fact, but that's a long story, so we'll just skip to now. I've been here working at this company for the best part of 2 years. Yeah, the suicidal tendency did not come from working here. It was probably wondering if I was good enough to be here. But that's by the by. They put me in a position of responsibility. I'm sat to you now in the office, which I have keys to. In a building, which I have keys to. In a building which I have alarm codes for. In a building which is responsible for many, many big events here in the Netherlands, quite famous ones. I wield a certain responsibility, and I revel in it. I enjoy it, and I put my all into it. I love it with my heart. It took me to come to the Netherlands and find a job that I never knew I was capable or would ever think I would do, but I love it. You know, I know the little triangles and the little round things for the bus for the roadside things. So I yeah, believe you me, this smile, I don't smile often because I let myself down with my with a lot of things. But yeah, this smile is not a fake smile. I genuinely am happy that I work for this company, who shall shall remain nameless for the moment. But yeah, working here, having my work, and really appreciating how much I am liked genuinely by other people, and I know, I didn't think much of myself, so I didn't think other people thought much of me either. And I recently discovered that actually I'm quite a big part in a lot of people's lives. Without me, the world would be a much more boring place. And so they also weren't just saying it. I believed them, and I felt the love. Which this typically isn't me. I'm one of those typical men that just grins, shows his teeth, and goes, "Fuck it, I'll get on with it," and just yeah, whatever, fuck it. However, yeah, this is a happier face than it was back in October, but I think I'm about to get onto that next point in the question. How do I channel it? I channel it by kicking things in the office accidentally. No. On some occasions, channeling it is quite difficult. I wouldn't say I'm finally over it completely, because at the end of the day we are men, and we shouldn't mistake being down or being a bit angry with having mental illness and mental health issues. Since October, when I sort of when I found myself again loving life and wanting to be a part of it and be there for people, I channel it? Sorry, I just lost my word. How do I channel it? I do apologise. How do I channel my... how do I channel it? I think probably what I wanted to say was I just try and give people all of me. Channel. I need to reread that question. I apologise. I apologise for this. Let's see, how am I doing with my work, and how do I channel it? Actually, that's an interesting question. How do I channel it? Well, being a resident here in the Netherlands, I can visit Dutch coffee shops. For those that don't know, Dutch coffee shops are places where you can go drink a cup of coffee and smoke some marijuana. Very much like just going for a beer after work in the UK. But I'm sure many of us have not lived under a rock, and we know what Amsterdam is famous for. Well, in other parts of the Netherlands, there's also coffee shops. No, after my breakup from my wife 2 years ago, I sort of very much became a hermit in my little place in the woods. Literally just taking myself out on a Sunday and going socialising in the local coffee shop for an hour before bringing myself back and hiding myself away behind a computer screen playing video games. You know, nothing destructive and overly terrible. Fallout 4 base building, that sort of thing. But nowadays, I'm absolutely loving, since October when I found myself, I'm channeling myself in many ways. I had a lot of energy stored up apparently, and so I'm taking myself on a bicycle ride on March the 24th. 2020, which will cover 1,023 kilometers in 10 days. I'm doing it for suicide awareness, trying to drum up some publicity and awareness of, and my message basically is, come on, ask somebody if they're doing okay, and if you know, don't just go, oh yeah, listen for the answer and see the tone. Just help where you can, and just, people need to be a lot better and nicer to each other and just love one another, each other more. It sounds cliche, but it really is true. Show love for other people, and the world will spin a lot smoother, you know. But yeah, I'm not sure I can really answer that how do I channel it question, so I'll just leave it at that one and move on to the next one. The next one is, has it changed the way how has it changed your life? Oh, this one's a big one. This one definitely is a big one. So 10 years ago, 2009, when I moved to the Netherlands, I had just come out of quite a bad divorce, and I accidentally stumbled across one of the most awesome chicks ever. She's was 10 years younger than me when I was 30, so she had just passed into the age of 21. Yeah, it works if you, yeah. She chose me in a moment of my not best looking, not when I didn't look as good as I do now, and was found interest in me, which was awesome. And I was happy-go-lucky, confident, cocky little fucker back then. And then we moved in with each other quite quickly. Everything was fine. I mean, we never had arguments and stuff like that, but she never opened up and never talked. So I would always have to work out what was being, why she was quiet or why she was in the mood. Just, little things. We moved in literally about 10 days after we got to know each other. That's a long story and probably one you can read in a book or somewhere down the line. But no, how did it change my life? Well, I went from that really cocky, charming individual to a couple of years later not really feeling I was good enough for her anymore, and she was still loving me, and I didn't quite know why, and I just apparently in my own heart just felt like I was going downhill. I don't know where it came from. I guess in 2013-14 there was a real stab from my father passing away. But sorry, not stab, a spike. So yeah, when you're not quite sure about yourself anyway at that point, and you don't have your parental oversight to sort of fall back on, sounds crass, you sort of go inward, and you can't really talk these things through with friends as they, just talk to me, buddy, I wish I could, but you really don't understand. You probably 3/4 understand, but couldn't give me just the, I'm sure you probably understand what I'm coming from, but so it changes your life in so much, say you lose all that confidence, that wonderfulness, that sort of this level of confidence, hell yeah. That person I lost, the person that looks up at the screen instead of looking down here at the camera to the people I'm trying to connect with. So that's the way it changes your life. You lose yourself. If you don't allow yourself to stop it, you become lost in it, and you get deeper and deeper and deeper in it. It just can crack you inside, but you still try and be that person on the outside daily, and then your cracks start to show every now and again. Let's see, has it changed the way you view mental health? The way I view mental health, I've always viewed it as quite a strong thing, because people's eyes tell a lot of stories, and eyes are what I always have been looking into if I'm talking to somebody. And often the words that come out of the mouth won't be what the sentiment is in the eyes. So therefore, I've never viewed mental health any differently. Maybe when you're that 5 or 6 year old on the playground, you don't understand such things and that sort of thing. But very quickly, when you do understand these things, you develop a certain affinity not affinity, but understanding and that sort of thing. I do in my own heart. I mean, I've been an ally of the LGBT community since I can remember. So rock on, anybody. I'm open to anybody. And by Jove, if you've got mental health, then we'll do everything. I would do everything in my power to help you get the help. Hence why I'm doing this interview with you guys now. Let's see the next question on the list. How have I found my experience with talking to people? Well, I wouldn't say I've talked to professionals, as I said right at the beginning of the interview. You talk with friends because you eventually crack and you sort of consolidate yourself in them. And you'll find that a percentage of them listen. A percentage of them listen and hear. A percentage of them listen, hear, and understand. And the other percentage that have just been there and know what the fuck you're talking about without saying many, many words at all. So, in that respect, you sort of already know the people that you're going to be talking to, and they're sort of. You can think what their opinion is, but unless you sit and talk with them for a while, then you probably won't know what their real opinion is. But that's prejudiced bias. So, or not prejudiced bias, but yeah. Through a certain experience that I've had with people, I can figure out how the conversation's going to roll. Roll on to the next one. Have I had support? Probably more than I ever knew. And probably ever more than I equated, if you know what I mean. You don't know how much support you have until it's offered, or you ask for it, but it's there. So, I've had support, I guess, from somebody whispering sweet stuff into the air and just, giving me a reassuring back over Facebook or something like that. But in the professional sense of support, no. But that does come with me hiding it. This company that I work for, have only just found out my history. Some of the people in the company already sort of had a vague idea, but others now are just coming to the knowledge of what I did in the last couple of years, trying to destroy my life. Sorry, I live in Holland and I have to speak Dutch on a daily basis, so sometimes I'm thinking in Dutch and I'm trying to speak English and la 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 la. That could actually be another way that I'm trying to deal with my depression, by learning another language that is fucking difficult. You have words in the wrong, give it a try sometime. It will take your mind off a lot of things, I promise you. Okay, I'm gonna roll on to the next question. Have I ever been stigmatized? Have I been stigmatized? I think I've probably been too stoned and too much trying to destroy or just not really paying attention to other people to realise if I've been directly stigmatised. I wouldn't say I've been ever used as an example in a group of people as oh, look at him for his mental illness. So no, I can't say I personally feel stigmatized over my illness. However, that said, who knows how people will feel about me now they know. As I said, I'm doing a big bicycle ride around the Netherlands very shortly, and the more people are going to know what I've been through. So if I would imagine if there was any stigma going to be involved with that, it would have to be widely known that I was mentally ill. And as I'm not very good, I'm probably a very good poker player, even though I don't know the rules, I could quite well put a false visage on this face. Quite a poker face, so people wouldn't generally know. So my stigma is sorry, I have to unlock the telephone, it keeps turning off. Has my experience made you more compassionate towards others? No. In a nutshell, no, because I'm a compassionate person, always have been, probably always will be, and god damn it, now the compassion goes out the window. I'm more a compassionate person towards the weaker, to the perceived weaker. No, that's not quite right. Compassionate towards others. I love people. Doesn't matter if you're black, blue, white, orange, pink, green, LGBT. Don't quite understand the whole multiple gender thing, but I'm 42 years old. But no, I don't give a fuck if you're transgender, gay, black, white. I love everybody, unless you're a dick, and then that just makes you a dick, not necessarily the crowd that you associate with. So yeah, I've always been compassionate to people. It's just something, you know. I guess with that we'll conclude the interview. But I would just really like to take this opportunity to thank Sarah over at Warrior Kind for giving me this opportunity to just talk for half an hour to the world, and just to give my side, my experience. I'm really very grateful for it, and please don't forget to look for the Netherlands Ride Out. It's on Facebook. It's happening March the 24th, 2020, and please, if you see this before then join up, and if you see this afterwards, then check out what I did back in March, heading into April. Awesome. Sarah, thank you. Warrior Kind, thank you very much, and please be safe out there. If you've got some troubles, talk. You know, please. Just Don't do it. Don't. People love you. Probably more than you know. And the world that you'll leave may not seem like a great world anymore. But yeah, you've still got life to live. Enjoy it. Yeah. Stay solid, everybody out there. Peace. Bye-bye.